We have woken up bright and early, and it is the last day of July in 2025. And a Tech Yes City, that can only mean one thing, and that is the used PC parts hunt of the month, where I'm gonna be straight up with you guys. I need actually a lot of DDR4 memory. And the problem was, up until now, I thought I had more than I did. And then I realized, oh, I'm running out really quick because I've been going through these budget X99 motherboards with various i7 5960Xs or 5820Ks, whatever I can find, because it's usually a real budget banger. Coupled in with like a 3060, you've got yourself a really nice combo there for a flip. But what I found was, okay, I'm running out of DDR4 real quick, and then I looked on the new market because DDR4, when I last bought a heap of it, it was really cheap. And now prices have just gone up for DDR4, so I was really surprised there. So what we're gonna be doing is jumping on the rig very soon, and we're gonna be just putting out a heap of offers on DDR4 and even DDR5 memory as well. Always love a good bargain, but I'll do the usual run through and try and just go as many deals as I can. This month, however, we are pretty good for graphics cards because we picked up a heap last month, as well as on top of already the GPUs that we've got. I am pretty healthy in terms of my GPUs, and also checking the used market on GPU prices right now. It's looking pretty grim. Anyway, guys, we're gonna go hit the car right now, go take off, because we're gonna meet with a regular contact called Les, where we're gonna see what parts he's got. And I actually haven't seen him for a couple of months, so I do wanna check in and make sure he's okay too. But we'll do all that right after today's video sponsor. Before we get back to the video, I wanna quickly talk about something that a lot of us overlook, and that is data privacy. If you've ever bought or sold tech gear online, entered your email for a discount code, or even signed up for a newsletter, chances are your personal information is floating around online. And this is where Incogni comes in. It's a service that works on your behalf to contact data brokers, the companies that collect and sell your personal details, and request that your information be removed. And it's not just a one-off job. Incogni handles follow-ups and keeps monitoring to make sure your data doesn't pop back up later. So if you want to protect your identity and or just reduce spam, you can take a bit of control back over your digital footprint. And also, if you use my link in the description below with code TechYesCity, you can get up to 60% off the annual plan. There's even a 30-day money-back guarantee, so it's completely risk-free to try. Links in the description below. Let's get back to the video. Welcome back to Tech Yes City, and we actually just finished up visiting Les, where he had some deals for us, and actually it ended up working out really well, because the first thing is, last month we did that hurricane damaged whole PC haul, and if you guys want to check that out, I'll put the link up here. But in that haul, there was something I got as like offshoots that I don't even know if I mentioned it in the video, but the guy gave me, Isaac, he gave me 2 monitors, Lenovo monitors, and there was no adapters with them. And I believe they usually house like a PC in the back of them. And he's taken the PCs out and just giving me the monitors. Problem is, they take proprietary adapters with these rectangle shapes. And so what I did was I gave Les some leftover parts, these HP carcasses, essentially with motherboards and power supplies and the coolers on them, because I just can't use them in gaming PC flips. So I gave him those, the 3 good ones that I had left with no rust on them. And then he, in exchange, gave me some adapters, which was really good, as well as a dual monitor stand. So I got like some freebie trades there. So it's always good to keep parts that you maybe think are worth value, even though you can't use them, because they might be of value to someone else. And so in this case, we came out with a nice little trade there for what I had and what he had. And after that, I then asked him about DDR4 memory, because I was looking on Marketplace for some DDR4 deals. And I did stumble across about 32 gigabytes of DDR4 for around 60 Aussie dollars, which is okay, but it's still more expensive than what I was used to getting it for new, even back a couple of years ago. And also, it's much more expensive than what Les was offering me. He was offering me $12 for an 8 gigabyte stick. Now, the good thing about these AliExpress used motherboards is that they do have 4 slots for 32 gigabytes in total, because I do like to flip, especially if you're coupling this with like an X99 CPU combo. You want to go with like an RTX 3060 12 gig. Great little combo there for flipping, but you also want to have 32 gigabytes of RAM. It's a really popular spec that helps me definitely flip PCs over the competitors. If I've got 32 gigabytes in my mid-range PC, it's definitely going to do really well. So in total, I ended up buying 10 sticks off him for 120 bucks. And then he also had a Dell T170, I think it is. And it's one of those Dells that has an i7-4790. I know it's a little bit old, but Les also chucked in a 500 gigabyte SSD as well as a 1 terabyte hard drive. And there's also 16 gigabytes of DDR3. And he was asking just 120 Aussie dollars because these are one of the few Dells that actually has a decent power supply in them. So all I have to do here is plug in a graphics card and then couple it with 2 monitors, for instance, and I can actually sell it on the entry level and still make a nice, decent profit. So considering the PC was all done, it was all ready, and it's working perfectly, I decided that wasn't too bad of a deal. Though to be straight with you guys, outside of these kinds of deals, I don't really look at DDR3 a whole lot anymore. Anyhow, after all that, managed to get the power cables chucked in with it, but Les also gave us a little present too, and he said, look, I don't know what this is. It was essentially an X99 CPU, and he said he'd chuck in an i7-5930K for free, but he doesn't know if it works or not. And then on top of that, he also got this busted up Z270 motherboard, and he's not too sure if that works either. So we will try and test both these things, see if they work. Though from here on in, I haven't really heard back from anyone on the used market, except for this potential deal for a Ryzen 5 3600, which has some bent pins, and they're asking just $10 for it. So I said I'd come pick that up, but I do have to check the location. But before we do that, I do have to go, because we're right around the corner from someone that I scarcely deal with, and they hate being filmed. And in the past, I've gotten some absolutely amazing deals from this person. They work at a recycling center. And so whenever they contact me and deals come up, I'm always happy to oblige. And the best thing is they're just around the corner from Les. So that's going to save me a lot of time while I'm up here. So it's just perfect timing that this happened today. So let's go around and see what deals we can get from Mr. Recycling himself.
Videoing is a problem, right? Just the, like, I need a bit of footage. What can I video?
So we've now just finished up at the recycling center, and this here is obviously just a boot full of PC parts, but you'll notice that there is a ton of monitor stands. So speaking of monitor stands, when I went to the recycling center, they just had an absolute crazy ton of them. So I decided to fill up my boot full of these monitor stands. Now, if you want to get a VESA mount on a standard VESA mount monitor on a Dell stand, all you have to do is drill 4 holes in it and then plug in your VESA mount screws and you're good to go. And you've actually got a really good monitor stand. Now, the best part is we got 10 stands for $5 a piece. So that's 50 Aussie dollars. Also, of course, as always, put the USD pricing up on the screen for those folks who want an international price reference. But after that, they also had at the recycling center, they had 6 Dell 24-inch monitors with the stands, really good condition. And so we ended up piecing out, again, 6 of those, 120 Aussie dollars in total for the whole 6. But after that, they had 25 sticks of DDR4 8GB memory. I did ask him if they had 16 gigabytes. He said they're very popular and they usually sell out of those. But he had a heap of 8GB sticks, which we then got 25 sticks for $10 Aussie each. So I ended up picking up, again, 250 Aussie dollars worth of DDR4, which is definitely going to keep me entertained with these X99 builds, as well as 4-slot motherboards where I can fit them in. Now, they're just basic speeds, but if you guys know anything about quickly tuning up DDR4 memory speeds, you can get these things to 3200 megahertz all day, every day. The last deal that we managed to snag up here was 6 512 gigabyte M.2 NVMe drives, and we got these for 15 Aussie dollars a piece, where with these prices, I'm really not going to be arguing at all, because with contacts like these, you've definitely got to respect their time as well. They're really busy. I get it. They just want to give you a price that they already know is good. No hassles, no wasted time. So ultimately that right there is a boot full of stuff. We're going to move on to the next target. So after this recycling center deal, and I do have to apologize, I know you guys want to see more footage, especially a recycling center, and if you're into used parts, but the person who I deal with there, they've asked me to keep filming to a strict minimum and not really let off any details of where the place is and stuff like that. So when they ask for that kind of thing and that kind of privacy, I have to respect that. And as well as that, they're also a friend, outside of just dealing with used PC parts. So I get to meet some of these contacts over the years, and I get to be good friends with them and have a laugh here and there. But after that deal right there, we do find ourselves out in the middle of a place that would be described in the middle of nowhere. But that's not to worry, because we have a deal that is also lined up in the middle of nowhere. It's a place called Jacob's Well, and it's pretty far out in terms of where I'm, definitely from where I'm living. But what they've got is they've sent me a message that they've got two PCs, that one of them has an i5 11500 and the other has, I think, an i5 as well. But for both these PCs and a monitor, they're asking 650 Aussie dollars. And so we're going to go check that out as well. And he did say one of them had an RTX 3060 12 gig. So that's the most important thing, is that we do get a graphics card with that deal. So we're going to go scoot over now, see what that's all about. And if it's a strike, a bargain type of deal, we're going to go strike a bargain. And yeah, let's go keep hitting the road. So we're now back at the Tech Yes studio, and we've got two new PCs. Well, not new, but we're going to clean them up very soon to be like brand new. And then behind that, we've got a monitor that was included all in this deal for 650 Aussie dollars. Upon checking it out, it did look all okay. And we've got this RTX 3060 Tough Gaming to boot, with pretty much the exact same specs on both rigs, except they did pull out some DDR4 RAM and the GPU in one of the rigs, which isn't a problem because, again, we've just got so much DDR4 memory already before we picked up this deal, so not a problem at all. Then we've got this Lenovo monitor right here. It is I believe I looked up the specs, it's 100 Hertz and 24 inch, so not too bad considering the whole thing isn't too messy and everything works a-okay. But I have noticed this latest trend. I did see this before. A lot of people are using Lego blocks to vertically raise their graphics cards nowadays. So that's actually not a bad idea to stabilize your graphics card if you are in a pinch. Though, what we got right now is me rushing back recording here because I had to miss the late afternoon traffic, especially where I am lately in the last couple of years. Traffic has just gotten so bad to the point where you'll be waiting an extra hour and a half, sometimes even 2 hours, just to get through peak time traffic, especially back from Les's. But what we're gonna do right now is quickly clean up both these PCs, because I do wanna get something listed ASAP. Always gotta have a PC ready to flip. But also I did get some messages back, because we are going to look for some more deals, but I did get some messages back on deals I already put feelers out for. And it's pretty unfortunate this month around, because I got someone messaged me back on pretty much an untested X99 combo with a 5820K, and they were only asking $50. I put in an offer of $30, they accepted. But then I checked out the distance from where I'd have to travel, and it's like literally over an hour and a half one way. So that'd be about 3 hours total from where I live. So I had to sideline that deal, as well as an 8700, i7 8700 motherboard and RAM combo, where they're asking, I think they were asking 200, and I put in an offer of 150 Aussie, and they accepted too. But then again, I asked them for their address, and they sent it to me, and I just said, dude, that's way too far from where I am. I will have to pull the pin on that one too. And then also the Ryzen 5 3600, when they sent me their address, they're well out past a place called Ipswich, which is just, I don't know why Facebook suddenly recommended me all these deals, because ultimately I use the radius thing and I don't want to travel any more than at most 80 kilometers. But this time around, it must have reset somehow, and I'm traveling now sometimes over 100 kilometers. And if you're not traveling 100 kilometers on the highway, it's just going to be way too far, and you'll probably end up wasting more gas than it's worth, because gasoline prices nowadays are pretty expensive. So before we start the next round of hunting, we're going to recalibrate that radius, as well as quickly say soz to the bros that we stood up, and accidentally too, because it's just really not feasible to go all that distance. You're going to be potentially wasting even more time than the Navi says, because you could get stuck in traffic, and then you're also going to be wasting a lot of gas in the process, and gas ain't cheap nowadays either. So we've got the PC all cleaned up. Well, actually 2 of the PCs all cleaned up, and that really took us no time flat. And the reason for that is on Amazon Prime Day, I got this new one right here. It was already, the previous one I used was like a pet cleaner, but then I got one like that was on sale for a car, and it's pretty much the same thing, except it does have this extension right here with the tip on it that's really good for cleaning PC parts. So I was really shocked at this one right here, not only because we're going with a new fresh look when we clean PC parts, we've got the automotive silver, but also we've got a literally like a 5-meter power cable on this thing too. So it's actually really handy, and hopefully it's built a bit more in terms of like handling outdoor weather. So I'm hoping it's a bit more durable. Anyhow, this thing, awesome. This extension especially, that's unique to this one right here. So that one actually saves so much time cleaning out the front of the PC. Well, you usually have to get in there with either a toothpick or a brush, and this thing just saves so much time. So basically when it comes to cleaning PC parts, never look past your trusty automotive parts to help get the job done. So basically right now what we're doing is we've got that PC listed up for sale. Both of those PCs ended up working absolutely fine. There's no weird noises or anything like that. And best thing is I didn't have to change the thermal paste on the graphics card. So that last deal that we got was an easy win, especially for the convenience, and it really didn't take us anything in terms of time to clean up, especially thanks to our new trusty automotive friend. But what we got right now is looking for PC parts. I decided to give Gumtree a good solid hit. And here's where Gumtree actually had quite a few potential deals. I mean, there was this Cooler Master master frame up for sale. I put down an offer on that. Then there was actually a couple of budget little i7 rigs close to me, older DDR3 things, but since I got that PC from Les, I was like, well, might as well stock up on some real budget stuff, chuck a keyboard and mouse and one of our newly acquired monitors with that whole kit, and essentially try and also hit the budget range of the PC market too. So we definitely haven't been sleeping on any deals. Also recalibrated our radius, and we didn't really find anything on Facebook. I think Facebook has been tapped out of any potential deals, but in terms of Gumtree, we're just gonna play a bit of a waiting game here. Hopefully we can get some deals rolling back in. So now we are fast forwarding again to the next day, and we've got our first deal of the afternoon. So I've been looking high and low on Gumtree, and even just now I started Facebook on my phone quickly to see what else I could pull up. But we just picked up this right here. It's a 32GB kit of RGB memory. They said it's brand new because the person said they tried fitting 4 kits, and then I asked them, was it in an AMD system? They said yes. So they obviously tried fitting 4 sticks of memory in their build, and only obviously 4 sticks, 64GB. Sometimes it doesn't work properly on the XMPs. So that's 2 sticks that are going to be fine. And I just sort of helped them understand why their 64GB didn't work. I said, you're better off going to get 2 32GB sticks if you wanted 64. Anyhow, that aside, we've got now another deal that we're going to go head to, and that's for a GTX 1660 Super that's partially working. They're asking $45. I just dropped in a little sneaky offer of $25. They've accepted. So I've actually dealt with this person before. So we're going to go see what's up with this 1660 Super. But then also on Gumtree, as I'm driving to this place, I'm hoping that this guy gets back to me. He's just got to check his messages, where he said I can get an i7 4790 whole combo with a CPU cooler. He was asking 100, I offered 60. Then he came back at 80, and he's accepted that, and he's given me his number. It's just sometimes people are just really slow to either check their Gumtree messages and or their phone. But anyhow, let's go get the 1660 Super. Hopefully we get some good news while we're picking this up, and we can get that other deal. All right, so here we are now with the final 2 deals of this parts hunt. And the good thing is here is we've just found like a little area, a little quiet area where we picked up this last deal where we can just get the thumbnail, so I thought I'd talk about these two deals quickly. Now, this one, apparently it partially works, and I've dealt with the person before. His name's Tim, and he asked me what I was gonna do with it, and I said I'm gonna simply run it through the ultrasonic cleaner, and hopefully that can bring it back to life and make it fully working again. So that's a 1660 Super, and I mean, not bad for, I think it's around 15 USD, 25 Aussie dollars. Yeah, we don't have a whole lot to lose there. And then we've got this combo right here, which is just a regular i7 4790. I think they mislisted it as DDR4 when it's just got DDR3, but still got a massive cooler on it, CPU, motherboard, and RAM combo. Always good for a real budget entry-level system. And they did show me it all up and working, so that should be pretty good too. So now it's time to get back to the Tech Yes studio, and I actually want to really check out what's wrong with this 1660 Super first, and then we'll also talk about the market in general and this month's parts hunt. So we've now finished testing all the parts that we got in here, and everything's working okay except this GPU right here. I do believe it is going to need that ultrasonic clean to even try and get some sort of a signal out of it, where said in the ad it was partially working, but this thing is at its current point in time, it looks like it's completely dead because the fans don't even spin when you turn it up, and the computer's still booting normally with the mouse and keyboard lighting up, which just means that it's recognizing absolutely nothing. So that's not a good sign. So maybe the partially working part of the ad meant that the cooler could work if it was attached to a PCB that worked. But regardless, we've got Marco, which in Taiwan, he fixed up a graphics card for me. However, I am gonna make a different video about all that because we did go to Taiwan recently for Computex. Well, not recently, actually, like a couple of months ago now, but when I was there, I went through a whole used parts thing and I got some footage as well as a process of getting an RMA GPU. So perhaps I can send this to him. He might want to take that and try and fix it up. But then we've got this motherboard right here. This was an interesting one because it initially started shutting off, and then I took everything out, the CPU off and the cooler, and I noticed the cooler was a little bit rusty. And so what I've done there is just left that down on the floor here with some here fishy, and we are going to let that just sink in and get all the debris off that cooler. And also we can use that 2112 for another build another time. So we're gonna mix and match a little bit there and put on that black cooler we got from that deal previously, where we actually got two of these coolers for free with that 650 2PC budget build. And anyway, after we fish oiled it down, cleaned everything up, the PC is now booting absolutely fine. So this motherboard combo is okay. But you'll notice besides that, there's a gold power supply there. That's because I do mix and match power supplies if I'm using a 3060 build. Obviously, we don't need a 750 watt gold. So I'm pulling those out of the builds and then putting in like a lower tier bronze power supplies. So again, making value in everything. However, that aside, let's throw up this month's tally for you guys, all the deals we got. And you can see here, it is an extremely frugal month. But still, I got a lot of parts, especially a lot of DDR4 memory that I needed in this parts hunt, and always good just picking up these budget deals, especially since we can make some magic happen on that lower end, which we're going to talk right about now about the market, because there's some things I am noticing, especially in the last few months from changes that are happening right at this point in time. And so with wrapping things up this month in the parts hunt, we've got here a used market that at least I'm finding personally is shifting to the budget side. So before, I found even a couple of months ago, I was flipping more higher end rigs really quickly, but then it seems like recently the higher end's definitely slowing down a bit, and then the budget stuff is definitely starting to pick up again. And the good thing here is that I've stocked myself up on a lot of budget parts. So even though we haven't got a heap of parts this month, in fact, it's probably looking like it's a little on the anemic side compared to what we usually get here, I have got a lot of budget parts that I am going to start sifting through and just mixing and making magic on that budget end, because it's really starting to pick up again and starting to move on that price point, especially where I'm at under 1,000 Aussie dollars seems to be picking up again. Over $1,000, it seems to be a pretty tight market. And so that's just how the market goes. Sometimes it's like fever on the high end or the mid range, and then sometimes it's fever on the budget range, and then sometimes it's just fever on everything. But it seems like it's definitely shifting towards the budget end. And at least where I'm locally, it's in Australia. They've property prices are really high, and interest rates, they still held the interest rates rather than dropping them. And there's a lot of talk about them dropping interest rates. And if they do that, I think inflation's going to pick up again. So they're pretty much at a real stuck in between a rock and a hard place right now, where they can't do much, the central banks in Australia. But maybe we could talk about macroeconomics and all that stuff in a separate video. But basically what we're seeing here is a pretty solid parts hunt. I mean, for me personally, my favorite deal of the month would be, deals would be from the recycling center. That is always, whenever I go there, I just walk out with a big smile on my face. I just get really good deals, and I get a lot of the stuff too. And that's one thing that a lot of people don't factor in when they're buying used parts, is that you kind of have to, you want to buy generally in bulk, because you're just saving so much time from getting one piece of gear to another piece of gear. You're just saving all that time. You just got all that gear stocked up, ready to go, flip, bang, next piece of gear, ready to go. And so I always prioritize bulk buying, even if the funny thing is, people are like, well, usually when you buy bulk, you get a discount. But for me, even if the bulk is the same price as a single deal, I like to get it too, because I've saved myself time on getting another one of those deals. So that's the irony there, is that yes, you do get the generally the price drop, but a lot of the times, a lot of people don't actually care about the price drop as much as they care about just getting the stuff in and having it there ready to go, instead of wasting time between each individual deal. But of course, individual deals, you can also get just extremely good value, especially when you get pick them up from time to time. Anyhow, guys, with all that aside, hope you enjoyed this month's parts hunt. If you did, be sure to hit that like button, and also let us know in the comment section below. As always, what's your best deal, and how is your market where you are personally? Are you seeing things pick up or slow down, or are you seeing different markets shift like I'm seeing here personally locally, where things are shifting towards the budget end? And as always, love reading those thoughts and opinions. So drop a comment down below, and I'll see you in the next tech video very soon. Peace out for now. Bye.